If I had a magic wand, I mean, I would have our district be visionary. You know, think big. What do we want to see with our kids? I would want our district to be on the cutting edge with curriculum, with class sizes, with our administration. I think, you know, dollars help that. Looking at the allocation of the dollars help that. But my magic wand would be broad. It would be global.
And I can't not ask this question. You each get 10 seconds for this. What is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Chocolate.
Murray's Flake Fromage, and I still mourn the fact that they're closed.
Chocolate almond's fine.
The Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
Mint chocolate chip.
Pistachio, but it has to have the actual nuts in it.
All right. I'm just the moderator. I don't think so. All right. Well, that is the question asking portion of this forum. Thank you so much for everyone who contributed questions and tried to get to as many as I could. And we will end with closing statements. We'll begin down on this end with Jim Lockard. And we'll go the opposite direction from how we started. You will each get 2 minutes, up to 2 minutes, for a closing statement.
Thank you very much for this event. And my goals are pretty simple, and they all happen to start with the letter C. So let's work through those. First, class size and workload. We really need to reduce class sizes in our district, and that would be one of my priorities. Computers. We've got to get the digital initiative back on track, running somewhere up to its potential. And I really don't believe it's there yet. Capital outlay. The capital outlay budget is what pays for those computers, and it also pays for school buildings. If we can save money on computers, we can spend more on our school buildings, our outdated, especially our outdated secondary school buildings. And finally, and probably most importantly, we need to improve the climate in this district. We need to be more cooperative and to be more inclusive. And I look to the new superintendent to lead the way on that. Thank you very much.
Anyone who knows me well knows that one of my favorite topics of conversation is public education. And the challenge of responding to these questions in a minute and a half is one of the most challenging things for me, personally, who could spend weeks, if not hours, if not months, talking about any of these particular questions and topics. I've spent the last 15 years advocating for our public schools, being a part of the Highlands Elementary PTA as a former president, and as a legislative chair, I continued on and served continuously as a legislative chair for the PTA through Indian Hills Middle School. I currently serve at Shawnee Mission East. I'm on leave from the SMAC-PTA, and I'm part of the leadership team of the Kansas PTA advocacy team. So I feel really strongly about public education, and I look forward to the opportunity to engaging not only with parents and teachers and community members, but building off those relationships with state legislators to create opportunities to make many of these things that we've talked about in the conversation tonight greater possibilities for us in the Shawnee Mission schools. If we have strong relationships not only with our legislators and our business community and our local governments, that we can draw upon all these resources to come together to create responsive opportunities for our teachers to be responsive and to give every student the opportunity to make meaningful progress and to achieve those state and district education standards. I really do enjoy the process of talking with people, and I would appreciate the opportunity to continue making our schools stronger and excelling to the degree to which we expect and we know that we're capable of in the Shawnee Mission schools. Thank you.
When I joined the board 20 years ago, I had children in school. My youngest daughter was identified in first grade as having a learning disability. And so I understood early on what special education services were, what they could do for her, what an IEP was. I'm very thankful that she was identified in first grade. She got the services that she needed. She was in a learning center throughout elementary school. In middle school, she was checking in, and in high school, she was sort of monitored. And when she went to KU, she was, since she had an IEP, still granted special services, which I think helped her get through her freshman year. She graduated from KU with a grade point higher than I ever got. She was a successful script supervisor in LA for 7 years until she came back to Shawnee Mission. Now she has a 3-month-old baby, my youngest granddaughter of 7. When I got on this board, I got on for one reason, and that is because I wanted to do what was right for our children. And I still feel that way, except now it's my grandchildren and your grandchildren. So thank you for the opportunity to talk to you tonight.
In my opening introduction, I neglected to say that I have been endorsed by NEA Shawnee Mission, by Mainstream Coalition, by Education First Shawnee Mission, Equality Kansas, and a few others that I can't think of. But my mom was a public school teacher in the Des Moines schools, and she originally taught in a building that was owned and run by the Salvation Army, and her students were high school girls who had become pregnant. And the Des Moines school system would not allow them to attend public schools at that time. So they went to this Salvation Army building, but the public school teachers taught them. So my mom taught those girls. And it was a school board that made that decision, that those girls could not attend public schools. Later, when that decision was changed, they opened the first alternative school in Des Moines, and she became a teacher at that first alternative school. And she taught students that weren't succeeding in traditional high schools. And because of the attention they got from her and all the other teachers there, they were able to successfully graduate. And it was a school board that made that decision to open that alternative school. And when I was in first grade, my parents sat me down and explained to me that the schools in Des Moines were not equal, that my suburban elementary school had lots of nice new things, but there were older schools in the inner city where mostly black children went that didn't have all those nice new things. And they asked me, would I be willing to get on a bus every day at my neighborhood school and take the bus to those inner city schools and be one of the only white kids in that class to help teach the people of Des Moines that we needed to treat our children equally. And I didn't understand all of that, but that was the voluntary busing program. And I did that for 5 years. And it was a school board that made that decision to start that program to try to integrate the schools. And I have known my entire life how important school boards are, how they shape our communities. And that's why I'm running.
We are asking you to vote for a board. It's a group of 7 people. They're going to work together to hire a superintendent and set policies for the district. At the end of the day, this is a group of 7 people who may advocate individually, but they need to come together and work together to make progress for the district. I have board experience. I have, from the outset, set forth tangible ideas of things that I think need to be changed in the district, and I'm a collaborator. I am asking for your vote on November 7th. If you have been following things, following the primaries, I can attest to the fact that every vote counts. So please vote. I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy that you're engaged. Please take part in the community input sessions that the district is offering. I was at the one at Shawnee Mission North tonight. So thank you for being here.
So our district belongs to all of us. It belongs to all of the kids, all of the parents, all of the community patrons, and we are at a crossroads. So no matter which of us up here end up on the board, we have to make sure that this board gets it right. And so we have to stay involved. We have to vote, But then after the vote, we have to make sure that we continue to show up, to make sure that they do their job, to make sure that the appropriate superintendent is hired, and to make sure that our educators get the support that they need in the classroom. It's been my pleasure talking to people on doorsteps and hearing their input and receiving their support. I'm really excited about the opportunities that we have moving forward, and I think we are on track to really do great things. And so, you know, it's been a long campaign process, but it's been great. I mean, we are going to turn things around. So I thank everybody for coming tonight, and I look forward to the next 3 forums coming up between now and the end of the election cycle. So thanks.
These are your candidates for the Shawnee Mission School District Board of Education. Go ahead and give them a round of applause. Thank you for spending part of your Thursday night with us. Thank you for allowing me to... Is it Tuesday? It feels like Thursday. No, it actually doesn't feel like Thursday. It feels like Tuesday. Thank you for allowing me to lead you through this. I'm going to hand it back over to Denise.
Hey. Well, you know, when we're doing rounds of applause, what about this guy? Somebody mentioned up here tonight about the community forums for meeting with the superintendent search forum. And because we have taken you away from some of those opportunities, we're going to offer you one of our own on October 16th, which is a Monday, here in this building at 7 o'clock. Shawnee Mission Area Council will be hosting the search firm for the new superintendent, and that will be pretty much the last opportunity for input. So if you do not make any of the sessions that are going on this week, they did have additional sessions for stakeholders. Most of those were during the day, so we wanted to give another opportunity in the evening for our working parents to be able to participate in this. This will be them explaining to us the process, but also we'll have an opportunity for input. So put October 16th on your calendar. Again, it's a Monday. It's here at 7 o'clock, and you will have opportunity to give your input into the topic that they have been discussing with you tonight. Thank you again for coming out. Thank you again for being interested enough to be here, because if we weren't interested, the decision-making would be out of our hands. So thank you and have a good evening.